Winners match, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first map in the winners match between Sometimes You Win and Low APM. The Underdog Cup continues, the tournament that we set up for the Division 2 and 3 teams within HeroesLounge. And right now, one of these two teams will qualify for the next phase of the tournament. We have 8 teams in total. They're split into 2 groups with 4 teams each, and only 2 teams make it out. So the winner of this particular match advances to the bracket phase, to the final 4, where they can then play for the prize money, and the loser will still have another chance in the consolation match to qualify. Should be a pretty cool series. We had both of them winning their previous match with a 2-0, and some with pretty decisive fashion. So curious to see who's coming out ahead here. I would still say that probably one of the best players that we have right now in this match is Twice, who also plays in some of the top level tournaments that we have. But, well, with that right now, we got Maiev banned out, Vala has been banned, Mephisto got the axe as well. So when it comes to Tomb of the Spider Queen, I actually kind of like that we now have bans that are very specifically for this map. We get Gul'dan as a first pick. Hanzo normally would be somebody that I could have seen here as well, and of course Johanna. Johanna has, weirdly enough, not been prioritized on Tomb of the Spider Queen at all by the teams. I think I've seen her once banned out in the second ban phase. Now we have Blaze. Blaze Johanna as a starting lineup would have been great here too. Hanzo would be another option, as I already said. But maybe they have some preference picks that they prefer over that. And they go for Anduin. Why anybody would prefer Anduin is honestly beyond me. But it is just what it is. People, by the way, are still asking sometimes in the comment why I hate Anduin. It's actually quite easy. So we had a Heroes tournament in China that lasted 2 weeks, and we were for 2 weeks at a hotel in China, and every single day we had like some matches that we were casting. And it was around the time when one of these World of Warcraft add-ons came out, and it was the one where Anduin was battling it out with Sylvanas. And I had for 2 weeks, every day, multiple times, to listen to that little fucker to just cry, "For the lion, mommy!" And, oh God, it really just, I wanted to kill him. I wanted to strangle him. So 2 weeks of that. If after that you don't hate him from the bottom of your heart, then something is seriously wrong with you, and you need professional help that I can't give you. So I would recommend go and look for a shrink. But yeah, like, boah, no, just no. Ever since then, real stinker. And obviously, now Blizzard is trying to tough him up a little bit and try and make him act like a man, and it doesn't work at all. Duh. But we knew that from... Look at him! Look at him! He looks like Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. For most of you, that might be a reference that you don't get. I'm not meaning Nick Carter like he looks now, but the way he looked back then. That's him, right there. This is budget... I mean... I don't even know. Budget Brad Pitt. Look at that baby face. That is budget Brad Pitt right there. Falstad. Yeah, Tomb still can, of course, go in with the Gus. And there's Jojo. Thank God. Finally with Johanna. They banned Muradin and they banned Sergeant Hammer. But I'm just happy that I finally see Johanna again on Tomb of the Spider Queen. She's just too damn good on this map to not be taken. So, yeah. And by the way, before some people are giving me crap here for the Backstreet Boys reference, unfortunately, my sister was a die-hard Backstreet Boys fan, and I know the lyrics of too many songs because they played non-stop every day. Yes, I am scarred inside. I had a tough childhood. You could talk about abuse here. I'm not. I'm just saying. People could. I made it through. I came out a better person at the end. But this is just what happened to me. This is my story. Stitches and Genji. Yeah, and that gives us the final pick. And we get Nazebo. Okay, the Witch Doctor. Let's go. Tomb of the Spider Queen. I'm here for it. Game number 1 in the winners match. Low APM against Sometimes You Win. Sometimes You Win in blue. On the left with Hajdunio on Nazebo. Padapon on Blaze, we got Snowbee on Falstad, Kensei on Anduin, and the Bouncy Bear. Still not on Chen. Should really take a page out of the book of Capybara and go for the Chen main tank plays, but we get Jojo, so I'll run with it. Then on the right side, we got Aletis on Dehaka, Zaxi on Gul'dan, twice on Genji again. That's something that I would have maybe even banned against him, given what happened in the last match that they played. Gumi's on Stitches, and we get Mr. X on Rhaegar. So, who's going to take it here? Very relaxed early game, I gotta say. I was expecting some fireworks. I was expecting somebody to go absolutely ham on this and, you know, just bring it in with the 5-man in the middle and just go full smoke on all of this. But nope, instead, everybody's just splitting out onto the lanes, taking it a bit easy. We have a Toad build for Nazeebo. And obviously, they're going to try and bring this into a late game. Normally, this is a map that lasts quite long anyways. Just average game time. Especially when you consider it's one of the smaller maps in the pool. But can Nazeebo get to Violent Infection? Or what are we going to get from them here? I'm actually excited for this one. This should be pretty cool. Both of the teams have played in an exceptional first match. And now we're going to see how far they can go with this, just generally speaking. So what else we're going to get here? Right now, obviously, we have the rotation between the lanes, middle, top, down at the bottom. We have the solo. Genji is already starting to annoy people. Jumped in and hit some of those potential rotations and is also trying to annoy them as they are making a move for the camp over here. They themselves, obviously, are also taking their own over on the right side. Nobody has yet made a play for the Siege Giants. I tried to go for those, but that's going to happen pretty soon too. Nazeebo would love to rotate between the lanes as well, but it was the red team that was dominating the rotation and really putting their mark onto that. Because the more Nazeebo can rotate between the two lanes right now, and then just simply get his stacks together for the baseline, the better for them in the long run as they are working their way towards level 20 and a Violent Infection pick. On level 4 we're now getting the big voodoo for him. And currently, sometimes you win with nice pressure in the middle. Obviously, one of the big advantages that you have when you're running Nazeebo is that he's also very strong against structures. So when you get him into a position there with a Toad build, you can do a lot. But the hook, nice! And the counter hook, so to say, from Anduin, but then in comes the kill. Gul'dan goes down, so while low APM had a chance with that hook to get a kill, they are the ones losing a hero first. And yep, that shuts down good old Gul'dan here. So we're having 1 kill for the blue team. Sometimes you win is slightly ahead now. But again, if they're able to do a lot here, fantastic. But I have my eyes on Nazeebo. He's really the one that we want to watch the most. Now, in addition to that, one thing that I want to point out a bit is that we have a bit of an adjustment on the side of Joanna. She went for Laws of Hope. If you go for Laws of Hope on any map, then this would of course be it. If you dominate the rotation, you are in an absolutely amazing spot where you can then easily say, hey, we are going to make the plays with the thingy. We're going to make the plays just like trying to ensure that we are getting the regeneration globes together. I kind of lost my track of thought there for just a second because I pressed the wrong button and all of a sudden it locked onto a hero and zoomed in as well, and I was like panicking. So if that sentence didn't make a whole lot of sense, then please bear with me. So that's hopefully not going to happen again. But yeah, long story short, I was talking about Jojo and how if you are on this map, you want to dominate the rotation so that you can get the regeneration globes, and that gives you a ton of self-sustain that she has. Not a talent that we see a whole lot, but I'm happy that there are some adjustments made for the map specifically. Same is also true when you see Stitches that goes for Hungry for More as his level 1 talent as well. Just as a bit of a side tangent here. So, generally speaking, if you have regeneration talents and you adjust them a bit to that, always a big fan of that happening. But down at the bottom of the map now, that's where we're gonna get Blaze. We have also still that 1v1 locked. Both of them have already turned in some gems, and currently it's the red team that is much, much closer to their first set of Web Weavers. So, Web Weaver wave number 1 is likely going to end up with them if they're able to get another hero into a turn-in position. And it is getting a bit more contested. Everybody is now trying to see if they can make that play. If they're able to rotate in first, get those Web Weavers, maybe take a few structures out. But the red team is at the ready, and they are gonna grab the first one. So, yep, nice and good for them, of course. So they are able to easily pick this one up. And as it stands right now, the only question that remains is how much damage can they actually dish out onto the structures with the Web Weavers. Nobody has really taken a significant lead yet. We have one kill. One kill is slightly inexperienced, nothing insane. I like how quickly Jojo is stacking her level 1. The baseline for Nazeebo is also looking really good. Both of them are doing a fantastic job on this. So as they are setting up for the late game, things are looking great, but we'll see who is gaining momentum once that level 10, for example, is being hit, which is obviously going to be another pretty important factor in all of this. So, yeah. For now, though, we have quite a bit of damage done in the middle. So they are able to get a bit of damage out of all of this in structures. Taking the wall out. Top lane has been defeated very easily. Down at the bottom of the map. That's where we're still, or had still a Web Weaver for a few seconds. Gul'dan, dead again. Second time that he falls. So Gul'dan is getting targeted pretty heavily by them. Really trying to make the plays, but the counter kill has finally come through. So Jojo is gone too. Both of the teams getting closer and closer to level 10 abilities right now. So this is going to be the next thing that's going to hit. And this is really, I think, where the game is going to pick up the pace a bit. They had some skirmishes, some fights, but there wasn't anything too insane that was going on yet. But now, if you have, for example, a gust play that you can execute, things are going to look a bit different. It's actually one of those where the Stitches team would probably love to have Falstad on their own side, just simply because then you could go for an isolation play after Gorge. But Falstad, of course, used by the blue team instead. Also allows them to buy a little bit of time here. Yeah, Nazeebo is still at the top, just getting wave after wave. He is sitting at 100 stacks, essentially, already. At level 10. That's fantastic for him. For Nazeebo, that's just great. Turn-ins could still happen for both teams. Light bomb. Ah, the X-Strike. Dodging out on that, but I'm still not quite sure. Okay, he's able to get the Swift Strike cooldown back in time and is rushing out, so he's able to escape. Good for Genji. But it is a highly contested one at this point in time. Down at the bottom, still the turn-in from Dehaka. And Dehaka safeguarding the gems is actually pretty big. They are 38 now. They're closer to a second turn-in than the blue team is to getting their first turn-in. Which is a bit crazy when you think about it. Dehaka dies, but already after he turned the gems in. Falstad dies too. That's a bigger deal. They have to try and recover the gems here. Bouncy Bear moves in with Johanna and grabs them. And we're having some fiery plays. 25,000 damage for Genji now. And on the other side, it's 15k for Nazeebo. He is rocking the show for them. But this is quite the match now. The blue team has been able to get their first turn-in, so they denied the second turn-in to their opponents. Too low APM. But now, can they do enough damage? They have to at least take a couple of the walls out. I'm not sure if they're really able to take an entire fort here. Oh, but if they get those kills, and they take Rhaegar down! The Ancestral! Too late! Not able to do anything about it. The Ancestral is out and couldn't hit Rhaegar in time as he tried to save himself. Now Stitches is gone. They bunker up at the fort and they are going to be able to take one out with ease. That's a huge win. That's a much better first objective for the blue team than for their opponents. So low APM. They're now 3 kills behind, half a level behind, and they're also a talent behind. And what is more worrisome is the speed at which we are seeing Nazeebo stack. Nazeebo is absolutely crushing it currently. Yeah, he is in a fantastic spot. Absolute fantastic spot right now. So this is getting a bit dangerous if you ask me. They gotta be very careful. Red team gets their own turn-in though. And oh, they just miss out on the Falstad kill. That would have been glorious. I mean, imagine for just a moment if they're able to take Falstad out here as the Web Weavers come down. That would be great, but not quite happening. By the way, Gul'dan is at 36 stacks on his level 1 talent, so he's soon going to get the synergy with his level 16 talent. It should be done by then. But Nazeebo is at 130 stacks now. Nazeebo is just spicy. That late game, if it comes to that, is going to be massive for the blue team. And they're taking those Web Weavers down thanks to Nazeebo also with apparent ease. No huge problem for them on that. Yeah. Another little play for the birdie, maybe. Can they false it out here? No. Quest is completed, though. Blaze at the bottom of the map is defending. In the middle, they also have another web weaver that needs to be addressed. One at the top, at least, is gone. And even here, they might be able to keep their structures. The hook misses. Stitches has the hook range increased now, of course. That's huge for him. But this is pretty darn good for sometimes you win. Quick reminder, this is the second turn-in for the red team. Second turn-in, they still haven't taken a fort down. No fort destroyed after 2 turn-ins. One is low, but still, that's 2 turn-ins that got less value than the first turn-in of Sometimes You Win. The advantage might be small, but this is something that you can definitely build on. And with a lot of Nazebo teams in the past, the goal was always just don't lose until 20. The rule of thumb was, if you can keep your keeps, when level 20 hits and you don't lose keeps, you're in a decent spot. And right now, they're doing more than that. They lose a fort, but they are still very, very even with the opponent. They're not falling behind. And Nazebo there is no doubt that he's going to get the threshold with 175 before level 20 kicks in. Absolutely no doubt. Now, there are enough gems in play for the blue team to essentially get, I mean, not quite, but nearly 2 turn-ins. Jojo has 31 stacks, by the way. So, yeah, a lot. Nice self-sustain for her, taking some of the pressure off the healer. And this should also guarantee them the second turn-in now. Yep, they turn in at the top with a few remaining gems that they still needed in order to get wave number 2. And that is easily a second fort. They also time it extremely well. Just around the level 16 talent that they got here. So they're looking at a wave or at a push that could very easily take another fort out. Which is of course what they're going to try and pull off here. The more you are taking control over the middle of the map, the better. Jojo's at the bottom of the map, going up against the Haka here. And trying to take some of the minion waves out that are starting to push in. So damage is already coming through as the rest of the team has rotated topside and is working this. Pulverize now for Stitches. Yeah. So he is another one that could make some big plays right now. Okay, let's see. No, not yet. Fort gone. Gorgeous in. And Falls that just barrel rolls away. Mega easy for them. Gul'dan also down. Gul'dan gets crushed. So yeah, he's down. And with that, we're now having another quick move, even for the wall at the keep here already. But the defense with Stitches, you could say, was a smashing success. Down to the bot lane. Yeah, they didn't take any damage on the wall here, in the middle either, but all of the forts are now gone. So 2 forts. Oh my god. And with Gul'dan dead, they are saying, guys, we got the numbers advantage, so we are going straight up for the boss and going to take that one on too. Okay. They're hitting all the marks right now. They're never letting go of the momentum. This is one of the things that I actually love with a lot of the games that we've seen right now. Teams have really completely embodied that spirit of when you're ahead, try and get farther ahead. Try and maintain the momentum. Don't give your opponent too much breathing room. And right now, Sometimes You Win is just hitting them in every single aspect. They push out the boss at the top. They go for the Haka with a quick gank at the bottom. They started to go for the turn-in as well. And the Haka is likely going to fall here. And then they can work on the next turn-in, get the web weavers going. And all that low PM can do is just react to what's happening on the map. And they don't get any initiative by themselves. This is basically what we're looking at right now. So, yeah. This is looking pretty fantastic. But okay. With that, we now have the lead for the blue team. Clearly. They have the threshold for Nazebo for Wild Infection. They are 1 level away from level 20, and here comes the next web weaver wave. So, off we go. With that, the big question that just remains is simply, what else can they now pull off at the bot lane push? 20 isn't there yet. I mean, they don't have the Wild Infection yet. Maybe it hits during this particular push. If it does, even better. Then a Zebo is in an even better spot to help them take some of the keeps out or maybe even go for the core. But just that push alone already, I mean, look at it. Nazebo is doing the damage before Wild Infection. Web Weavers are coming down. There's Catapults, there's Siege Giants. They go in for a kill. Gul'dan is dead again. There's level 20. Wild Infection kicks in. This could end the game right here. They're making massive moves forward now. And Sometimes You Win is currently going through the structures of low APM like hot butter through cheese. They burn down the keep. The Web Weaver in the middle even ignored. Now Stitches is gone as he goes for Gorge. And that is a free shot onto the core. Nazebo, no problem. They're taking this with ease. The lead in the best of 3 series here in the winners match of Group B goes to Sometimes You Win. They take the first map in the series. GG, well played.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Battlefield of Eternity, the second map in the series. Sometimes You Win with a pretty solid start into the best of 3 here in the winners match, so kudos to them. Low APM, I really feel like towards the end it just fell apart a bit, especially, I mean, Gul'dan had problems. Gul'dan died 4 times, and the last 2 deaths were just at the worst time possible. I believe it was every single time when a Web Weaver was coming down, he just got killed immediately. So, yeah, it was a little bit crazy there towards the end. He's one of the main heroes that they need to defend against Web Weavers, right? So whenever there's like a big push set up with mercenary camps, with Web Weavers, and then also Catapults, he needs to be the one to dish out the AoE, and he just couldn't. So with him out of the picture, Sometimes You Win just could go straight for the victory here. And of course, the next problem that also came with that was simply the fact that we were looking at a situation in which Nazebo was hitting his level 20 just as the push came in. That made matters worse. So, yeah, tough times for them. But on the other hand, we got now Maiev banned out again. Keep in mind, again, quick reminder, the heroes that were played on the last map cannot be played again in the same series. This is the one rule that we have in the draft, and that is still maintained here. Now, can low APM bring this back? Do they have a chance to actually force game number 3? Or will Sometimes You Win with the first match point be able to advance to the bracket stage? Vala gets immediately taken by Twice. So they're clearly trying to go, oh, actually Battlefield of Eternity, arrow build possible, of course. Could go for an auto attack style if they just wanted to focus on team fights instead. Ho ho ho. I see Reyna, I see Tyrael, and part of me is just immediately thinking, backdoor. I would love for teams on this level, you know, that are roughly on the same play level to go for some kind of backdoor strategy at some point. Uther and Stukov now locked in, so clearly Uther as a main tank, and then you have Stukov. They could technically go also for a proper tank and just have a double support. Either way, what they're trying to do is set Vala up with an auto attack style to be hyper aggressive and be able to win the game for them. But I'm just saying, you could technically go for a backdoor with Tyrael Reyna. Jimmy is good with the auto attacks, also of course against the Immortal itself with Exterminator. But if you at some point here drop a Morales into the mix, backdoors are a possibility. And Uther, Stukov, not really the best ones to deal with this. Stukov, well, no, actually Stukov with a slap, it's not too bad. Can create a bit of space there. But Sanctification is a problem in that context. And they're actually thinking about what to ban here. Normally, you don't see a proper backdoor strategy on that kind of level. But if they would lock in, I don't know, Falsa might be a little bit too much here. You could still go for a mage together with it. And obviously Greymane is another one. Malfuria and Rexa already put an end to all of the crazy dreams that I have here. It's not gonna happen. Malfuria and Rexa instead. So we're going to get a proper game out of this. Feels like we need another damage dealer though. Maybe even Greymane. There is Chen. Alright, now we just need Chen played by Bouncy. But yeah, it's the wrong side unfortunately. Chen and Artanis. So Fat Illidan plus the liability. Okay. That's a lot of protection for Vala. Twice really needs to play out of his mind right now in order to win this for them. I mean, they put all of the responsibility on his shoulder here. And then we get Deathwing as the final pick. with a chicken skin. Looks like a turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2. We're going to Battlefield of Eternity. Sometimes you win on the left with Haj Jr. on Reyna, going of course on level 1 straight for Exterminator. We got Bouncy Bear on Tyrael, Padapon on Deathwing, Snowby on Rexa, and Kensei for the blue team on the support with Malfurion. On the right side, low APM playing with Aletis on Artanis. The liability took amateur opponent. Gumis on Chen, Zaxi on Stukov. We got twice with the auto attack style, with that build and that combo, that team composition. Twice playing Vala and Mr. X on Uther. Honestly, every single time I look at this, I really think Deathwing should be banned, just generally speaking, because games with Deathwing, they just tend to drag on. And this pun was brought to you by Joseph out of the YouTube comments. Big shout out. Fantastic. So yeah. If the games keep dragging on too much, then you can always ban Deathwing out. But thankfully we didn't at least get the chicken skin. So he had that selected initially and he switched it up and I appreciate that. Part of me believes he just did it to pander to the audience and to the stream here a bit. And you know what? I'm absolutely okay with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Bit of action already down at the bottom of the map, top side. We have our 1v1 where Artanis for some reason thinks that he can take on a full dragon. Not quite sure if I agree with that, and neither does Jimmy, so Artanis is down. And that's of course what he does best, dying in style. Then again, that kill comes with a bit of a problem, which we see now at the bottom of the map, because they abandoned the bot lane, and that allowed the red team to instantly move in and take one of the towers down, which they did, of course, right away. Vala is really what we have to watch out for right now. Vala is going to be the big one here. Absolutely no doubt. She is going to try stacking like crazy. I mean, think about this. She has essentially a quad front line, if you count the two supports, and Uther has been doubling as a main tank many, many times. And then she has also Chen who can create space for her, and Artanis who can help protect her as well. So Vala needs to A, not die, and B, just stack out of her mind, and they put everything into that build. Most of the time when you see Vala on this map, it's an arrow build because you're trying to burn the objective down. You're trying to go in with Monster Hunter and take the Immortal apart. What they're trying to do here is a little bit different. They want to win the team fights, and they want to destroy everything they can with Vala as a hyper carry. And that is definitely a totally valid strategy, and something they could absolutely pull off here. So we have to see how this works out for them. But this is possibly happening. Now, we'll see if they can make that work or not. But right now, at the top lane, it's Vala that goes down. No! Oh, not like this. This is the one hero that is not supposed to die. Everybody else can go down a few times, but not Vala. So that's 5% of the attack speed already gone that she gets with the Gambit quest on level 1. She got 26 stacks, but that is not how you want to start that game up. Definitely not. And to make matters worse, at the bottom of the map, they are currently losing ground heavily. So, yeah, this is not a good start for low APM. If they are stacking topside properly and they're losing some structures at the bottom of the map, I mean, you can always play around this a bit. Once that Vala gets stacked and gets Manticore, you're in a great spot. And it's obviously not over, but it's not a good sign if not even 3 minutes into the game, Vala has already lost her life once. And at the bottom of the map, this fort is nearly gone. So, fantastic opening once more by the blue team. They're strong. They're really strong. And I have to also highlight this again. I was actually, when we started into this group, a little bit worried about Twice playing in one of the teams, because while they are in Division 2, this is still somebody they can carry hard. He has been a consistent player in some of the top tournaments. But the blue team, with their team play, are fighting back mightily. They're losing in this case Jimmy though, but at least they get a counter kill on Stukov. They could, of course, drive this a bit farther. That would be even better. And here comes Deathwing. They go for the liability again. And can they take him down? Yes, they can. That's the end of Artanis for the second time. So he's gone. Artanis down. Level 7 kicks in. Half-time show victory for low APM, though. The red team might have lost some heroes here, but they won the halftime show. And now they're trying to ensure that they are taking the first objective without any big problems here. And they should be able to get this one. So don't see why this should become a problem for them. 5 kills to 1, objective is taken, 50% of the shield still remains. So good news for them. And now it's a question of how much can they push. Keep in mind, this bottom fort has already been destroyed. So while the objective has been abandoned, so to say, or lost, they already did significant damage to structures themselves. And unless low APM pulls off a little bit of a miracle over here, they should still come out ahead in structures after all of this. Uther on level 7 with Guardian of Ancient Kings. A bit of a reminder. The attack here is still ongoing. Okay. Let's see. How much damage can they do? The wall is already taken out, so good for them. The Immortal is doing way more than I thought, to be honest with you. That is half of the hit points on the fort already gone, and Artanis isn't even here. That is nice damage. That is a great effort. They don't get the fort, but that is still a lot of work that they've just done here. Okay. But of course, overall, they're going to need a little bit more than that. But still, it's good counter pressure. Still a level behind, still 4 kills behind. But this could have gone a lot worse for low APM. And to also talk about Vala here for just a moment, she is sitting at 107 stacks. So yes, she might have died once, but she's currently making up for it with the amount of stacks that she's getting. really playing very close to home though. That's a play on knife's edge if you ask me. But Twice is doing what he has to do. He needs to be aggressive. He needs the stacks. It's not enough to just survive and maintain the auto attack speed. He needs to also be able to get stacks together. If you have this many heroes that are just out to protect you, then you need to bring the damage. Others can create opportunities for you, but you need to be the damage dealer and you need to be the one that melts heroes like Deathwing just away. Level 10 abilities in. Gives us again Sanctification, of course, for Tyrael. Raxa is dealing at the bottom of the map with Artanis for now. Vala sitting at 120 stacks. Halftime show, yeah, should be an even battle to try and see who gets this time, because by the time the Immortal spawns, level 10 should be ready for low APM. So no massive advantage on that. But for now, the teams are just going again for the camp. So at least when we're talking about the red team. Over here on the left side, minute and 30 on the cooldown still. They've obviously already taken that fort earlier. But with that, we have the Immortal spawning. Amateur opponent is starting to kick in. Level 10 abilities. Maybe Strafe, a little bit of a surprise. Oh, but Deathwing. Deathwing gets ganked at the top and just absolutely crushed. Crushed like a fruit fly. So with Deathwing gone, 14 more seconds, there will be a numbers advantage for them. Deathwing eliminated, and they're going for the topside fort now. Vala just firing away. And getting the stacks in for the 150. She wants the next reward, and she's getting very, very close to it. That fort is also gone, so here comes low APM with momentum. They get the Keck play out, and instantly Sanctification from Tyrael save the day. They can't lose Malfurion here. If he goes down, then that would just be a total disaster for them. But Vala is still taking the team to the Immortal and bringing them way up on in comparison. So here's another stun against Chen. Nice follow-up at the Divine Shield. Saves the Panda. Chen still alive. Got dicey for just a moment, but still looking good here. And of course, just looking at the damage numbers, Vala is sitting at 33,000. She is way ahead. They might lose that Immortal though. Big commitment from the blue team to get this one low. No matter who takes it, the shield will not be massive. Will be a small one. Misha goes down. Chen is, in this case, sitting at 10,000 damage himself. It's more the utility, obviously, that he brings. And there it is, the second Immortal for low APM. So they get 2 Immortals in a row on this. And with that, we're now moving down to the bottom of the map, where the next push with the Immortal is coming in. Yeah. Can they take the fort? This time the shield is much, much lower. But Vala is just working the numbers here. Dying once earlier, definitely not great, but she's making up for it with all of the auto attacks that she's been getting. Twice has been playing a great game on her. One death is not enough. Blue team needs a few more if they really want to take that attack speed out. Which obviously is going to be the attempt here. Stuns are in, and again the fort is gone. Deathwing flies in. Sanctification from Tyrael, still a possibility here, and Artanis is gone. Artanis is gone. Vala, low, gets the heals. Divine Shield would be up as well if they really needed it. But there's the root on Uther, and the stun for Misha. Self-Divine is on the run, but can he actually escape? A little bit of body blocking is all that's needed here. And Uther is gone. Jimmy with the kill. And now they turn it. And they try to take out Chen as well. He's attempting to keck this away. And is actually able to survive. That doesn't change the fact that Uther is gone. And Artanis is just now coming back. So while the blue team has lost both of their forts, they are working the wall at the bottom keep now. Vala is nearly at 200 stacks now. And her damage is obviously reflecting this. She's sitting at 46,000. That's 50% more than Deathwing as the top damage dealer of the blue team has now. So, it's close. You look at experience and it might not quite look like it. It's a one-level advantage still for sometimes you win, but this is still pretty clutch. And Vala is going to get Manticore at level 16. The next talent is Manticore. And then Deathwing in particular is going to have an absolute horrible game. He's not going to be happy. So, who advances? Who's able to go to the next phase of the tournament as the first place out of the group? That's the big question now. And they're pressuring. They're again at the bottom of the map, trying to pressure here. This is such a nasty thing, by the way. There's so much sustain here. The Divine Shield, the heals to pop it up, then Chen that can also create some space for you if you really need it. Twice is moving very much alone towards the top of the lane, though. I'm not quite sure if I really like this. The supports are on their way, but you should never be alone anywhere if you're Vala in this particular team composition. There should always be somebody around that can act as a bit of a guard dog for you. Immortal is back up. Jimmy, of course, needs to show his skills now. But we also need a few kills, and it seems like Chen, for a second, was actually in danger of dying here. What happened? There's the attack once more. They're going for the protection play. They want to go for the liability, but Artanis is, in this case, getting out. Only because of the Divine Shield, though. So they lost a lot of their ults already. Basically, all of the ults are gone, whereas Sanctification is still available. Yeah, Jimmy with some nice damage, but there's also a camp at the top lane that could become a problem when you have to protect your own keep here. So the red team is pushing in again. Chen, careful, he doesn't have the keck. He's completely surrounded, jumps out. Sanctification has been used. Now it's Artanis that is sitting at the front. Vala completely unmolested, is getting more and more connects in. 223 stacks for her now. Barbecue play. Good damage from Deathwing, but it is Misha that falls. And while the blue team is about to get level 16 talents, the red team is again on the Immortal and will likely win the halftime show here. They're forcing this way back in and try to get Jimmy into a good position for this, which they of course will. Defense at the top is also slowly happening here, but with level 16 talents and the advantage that comes with it, sometimes you win, has to make a play now. Deathwing is defending the top, they're taking their Shaman camp here. And now they have the talent advantage. I mean, you gotta get something out of this. If you have the talent advantage, you gotta use it. Jimmy with the rallying cry, just as that one example. And now they're starting to go straight in for a potential kill again. Divine Shield is up in a second. Malfurion used his ult already, was kecked away. Again, the orbital bombardment from Artanis. They're trying to push them out here. The swap against Malfurion. Malfurion in real trouble. He's dead. Malfurion is dead. The swap was great for Artanis. It was a fantastic swap, and that takes their healer out. No more healer for them. That's bad news. Now the opportunity to push this even further. go for the next objective. That's exactly what they're trying to do, but they lose Stukov. They lose Stukov. They might lose the Panda too. They're trying to go for Chen. Chen is low and Chen is dead. Artanis wants to take the Immortal at least, willing to sacrifice himself. And, well, he sacrifices himself, but he doesn't get the reward. He doesn't get the Immortal. Vala is on the run. They really want her. They would love to get the rest of the team too. In comes Deathwing with a bit more damage, but Vala and Uth are the only ones that are finally able to escape here. So it's a 4 versus 3. Malfurion back in a moment, and the Immortal is taken for the first time by Sometimes You Win. They got a tiny shield of 790 hit points, but they got the Immortal. And Vala has Manticore now. Now she is nearly in her complete form. 70,000 damage for Vala. 56,000 damage for Deathwing, but 47,000 for Jimmy. Insanely close fight around the Immortal. Mega close. The fort at the top will fall. What else can they pull off? It's a 5 versus 5. Full 5 versus 5 now. Once again. And Vala, she's now a monster. Vala has turned into a monster. I mean, forcing Malfurion already to go for his ult here. So they're trying to push them back out. Vala with Strafe. She gets the heals. She has her pocket healers here. Immortal is getting attacked, but they're breaking through the wall. 18 to 17 on the levels in just a moment. Vala with 267 stacks. They want that keep. They want the keep. They're pushing them back out. Misha down for 20 more seconds. The keep is falling though. It's mega low. And it should fall to the minions alone. Keep is gone. So is Tyrael. They need to disengage. They need to try and get away here. And Chen is already chasing. He's not the only one. Vala comes in for another kill and she's going to get it. Malfurion is down. They need to save the rest of them. 3 heroes are still alive. And Tyrael is back in 30 seconds. The red team, they're trying for the top lane now. They're trying to go to the top. They're trying to take the top side keep out. They lost their own keep. They want to return the favor. They might be able to pull it off. They might have a chance to actually do it here. Go and take the keep out with only 3 defenders. Tyrael is back in a few moments though. So this is a play for time. They're playing for time in this case. But how far can they go with this? Yeah, I mean, not as much damage on the keep as I thought. They barely scratched it. I really thought they had at least a chance to drop it down to 50%, but they didn't want to risk anything here either. Even with Malfurion not in the mix, they just decided that they would retreat. Vala is nearly done with the level 1 quest, by the way. So, nearly completing that. But things are stabilizing now. And the advantage goes to the blue team. Half a level ahead in experience, closer to level 20, and they destroyed the topside keep. But the red team makes another play for this. And there's nobody here to defend. They might get this one. Sneaky move! I like it! They get 50% of it. That was really cool. Quick rotation, get 50% and then disengage. Blue team, oh, they are chasing. They're committing. They're actually using Rexa's ult to try and slow them down and stop them. And get everybody else in. There's the root on Stukov. Stukov, and they have to use the onboard orbital bombardment in order to save him. But they're still chasing. Vala with a strafe, trying to get away here. Misha, heal, comes in, goes for Chen, and in comes Deathwing. They tried to get a kill as the red team was rushing away, but they couldn't get it. They are wasting their time though. And that means the keep at the bottom of the map is taking a lot of damage. The red team has to react, and that gives the blue team time to go for the Immortal. There's still a catapult here, and that's actually a problem, because if the catapult doesn't get taken out immediately, then this keep is gone. Not even close. Halftime show is won by the blue team, by the way. But no! The one Khaldor that is still standing gets the keep for them. Keep is gone. And now, of course, the level 20 talents will be ready. Vala's damage should have exploded, by the way. 99,000 now. Uh-oh. They might actually lose this one. Despite the fact that they won the halftime show, I don't think they win this. Nope. Vala takes it. They take the Immortal again. God! That is nasty. Even with the level 20 talents. Just look at that situation here. Crazy stuff, honestly. There's a big chance for them to now win this one. There's a big Immortal. Small shield. not big, but still. That could spell out the end. Not sure if they can properly defend this. Should be able to. But if they lose the key, for example, then yeah. They're actually doing really well. The shield is gone. Nearly 50% of the hit points are gone. The key might still fall. Depends on how much the red team is willing to engage here. But there's the orbital bombardment. They're still attempting to prevent Jimmy from taking this. But yeah, the keep will fall. I think the next Immortal will 100% decide this game. We could go to game number 3 with this. We definitely could. Vala trying to take a tower down here too. Chen going for the keg. Yeah, missing the angle. And now they're starting to rush over. Rexa is trying to prevent them from getting away here. And Stukov is likely going to die. No, he gets the Divine Shield. Divine Shield on Stukov, which means it's missing now if they are trying to save Vala with it. Strafe gets used too. Jimmy still in play. And they could try and turn it again now. Oh, this is really going down to the wire. Insanely clutch. Close. Oh! Malfurion, and he's dead. That arrow, too much for him to handle. Malfurion is down. Low APM is trying for the big boy plays. They're taking Tyrael out too, and all of a sudden it's a 5 versus 3. This might just be the end here. Late game Vala, fully stacked with only 1 death, is too dangerous. Look at this, she gets 3 kills. They're going for the core. We're going to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Vala with 130,000, she pulled it off. Third map incoming between Sometimes You Win and Low APM. GG. Third game, we're going down to the final map, everybody. Towers of Doom. And this series definitely deserves a third map. That's going to be great. That was a fantastic match. And Vala at the end really clutched it out. Once that she had Manticore and Farflight Quiver with all of those stacks, I mean a fully stacked level 1, it was fantastic. It was great. So now we have Towers of Doom as the final map in the best of 3 series. And as I said before, the 20 heroes that have been played cannot be played again. The winner moves on to the bracket stage, and the loser has another chance in the consolation match later on. But this is a spicy series between these two teams. We have some fantastic teams here. I honestly can't wait to see the bracket phase come through, and I'm very happy that we decided to give, this a shot. So far, the tournament, in my eyes at least, has been a huge success. I don't know what you guys think about it, so make sure that you also let me know in the comments. We need some feedback here to really judge, okay, is this something that people would like to see more, yes or no? But I at least am quite happy with how engaged the teams are, and they seem to be super happy to play there. I'm really surprised also by how fast they are just setting up the next map, and I have to do nothing right now. So shout out to HeroesLounge for organizing it, but also for the players to just being absolutely on point. There's nothing reminding people, hey, can you switch sides? What map do you want? They are just snappy. They're just doing their thing, and it's awesome. Yeah, I like it. Oriel, again, she's big right now here. So we have her taken. And also, people have been worried a little bit about... I mentioned twice as a player because he's currently, I think, rank 3 in Grandmaster. Therefore, he stands out a little bit when it comes to the average level. The average level here is like Masters High Diamond. But they just got defeated in the first map. And it was a pretty close one. And then game number 2, yes, he's able to win it for the team. But it was still incredibly close. So now, can they do that again? I like the ban on Medivh, by the way. That was a hero that in way too many series had an insane impact. So they're starting to get rid of that early. And now I just want to know, what is Twice going to do? Tracer is of course a character that comes to mind. Zeratul maybe. Something that has a huge impact and has a high potential skill level where you can really excel if you make the individual plays. So assassins in general are something that you immediately would think about then. Cassia, she gets banned. I would just love for them to lock something like Cho'Gall in. It would be ridiculous. Get Oriel Cho'Gall and just absolutely, run it down in the third game and just win it somehow. It would be hilarious. I'm not sure if that's what we're getting here, but it would be a real fun finish to this. I think we're going to get a normal composition. And yes, there's Phoenix, which actually surprises me a bit. And we get Muradin. So, okay. And then the question, what are we getting for twice. We need a main tank and we need a damage dealer for twice. This is what we can expect. But what's going to be the focus? With Chromie, you also would love to have a stun to tee her up, of course. Normally that's the main tank. They go Hanzo and they have Diablo. Okay, so Hanzo for twice. Not going into anything more aggressive, but Hanzo himself can obviously also make a ton of plays and oftentimes ends up being the top damage dealer, being it poke damage or not. And now for Snowbee, our final pick, we need more damage as well. They already have their side laner, they have their main tank, Phoenix, and here comes Greymane. Towers of Doom, everybody. It's the third map in the winner's match, the final map in the series between low APM and Sometimes You Win. Let's go. The final map, and on the left we have, in blue, Harjunio on Phoenix, we get Bouncy Bear on Muradin, Padapon on Hogger, Snowbee on Greymane with Wolfheart as the level 1 choice. Don't see that all that often. Kensei on Oriel, we got Zaxi on Chromie over on the right side, Gumi is on Diablo, Aletis is playing Leoric twice, all eyes on him, playing Hanzo, and Mr. X with Deckard Cain. So, let's see which team is able to advance to the next round and who has to go through the consolation match. So, this is obviously going to be one of the big ones here. Towers of Doom is also a map that is normally decided in the later stages of the game. As I say that though, let's also admit that we just recently had a couple of games that were decided on this map where they were pretty quick. I mean, where we had very much immediately a finish put on by a team dominating all of the bell towers and making their plays around a full barrage plus then altars that were being grabbed as well. So lots of stuff going on for sure. But down at the bottom of the map, this is where the blue team is currently starting to make the first dent into all of these plays. And, well, we'll see how they can coordinate the attacks here and also how much of a value Phoenix is going to provide for the team, because this is probably the pick where you look at it and you're the most like, alright, let's see if that is going to have an impact. Phoenix is something I didn't necessarily have on my bingo card for this particular game. So, time will tell. They take their own pumpkin camp and they have Muradin already over here trying to gauge if they should go for an attack, and they do, and they take out Chromie. So Chromie is immediately gone. Easy.
And we say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Diablo might also make a disappearing act. Yep, pulls a Houdini and is gone, and that's a kill on twice. Triple kill to start the game off. That is... yeah, that's tough for low APM. You're just coming off a win on Battlefield of Eternity and you're feeling amazing. And then the first thing that happens is you lose 3 of your heroes. 4, and you're losing camp. Twice is pausing the game because they definitely... they need to apply a little bit of aloe vera right now after all of the burns that they received in the last 30 seconds. Absolutely understandable that he would pause the game here. I would do the same because, boy, they have been taken out. You could say that maybe 1 or 2 of the players on the team need a shower because they've been shit on, but that was just a disastrous opening, and yeah, the tactical pause here, more than understandable, if you ask me. You're losing 4 heroes this quickly and get absolutely crushed. Something needs to be addressed. Doesn't seem like any of the players have dropped. Maybe they're having a bit of a lag issue, but for the blue team, everything is going spectacular. They have 4 kills. They have a 1 level lead because of that. They're also having a talent advantage, of course, that they're now trying to translate into more. And with them opening the bottom wall up already, they will have access to the first bell tower. And as on so many maps, the bottom lane is the most important one. This is going to be the lane where most of the pumpkins can theoretically travel through. So if you control the full bot lane and the bell tower, you can get those pumpkin camps mega easily, can escort them through the bot lane, get some extra shots in against the opponent's core, and that usually then puts you even further ahead. Momentum is everything on Towers of Doom. Currently it's in the hands of the blue team, and in a couple of moments we're going to find out if low APM is able to bring it back, or if it's going to be the blue team that is just dominant in the final map of the series. So apparently we had a couple of lag issues on the side of one of the players, so they asked for a quick break. just so they could try and fix everything. Now seems like we're good to go. But of course, as I already said before, the situation that they find themselves in right now isn't really a pretty one. So they have to really buckle down now and make sure that they're somehow turning this around. It's just a little bit of an early game problem. There is, of course, the advantage that will continue to be maintained by sometimes you win, but you can break through that. Early game deaths are not that big of a problem because the death timers are low, but you lose some of the experience, and it's really a momentum question more so than anything else. But it seems like the problem just keeps continuing because Chromie gets absolutely crushed here. Nice job by Muradin also, setting that kill up and grabbing it for the team. So extremely well done by him, and that's kill number 5. This is getting a little bit worrisome. I'm not gonna lie here. Early game, you can lose a lot. People that after a bad early game immediately go like, this is unwinnable and want to quit and ask for a surrender button are always a little bit nuts and haven't understood Heroes of the Storm. They don't really know what they're playing. You can always come back here, but of course you need to at some point to stop making those mistakes that led you into that situation in the first place, or build up some momentum with a team composition or heroes that scale into the mid and late game. And now that they're losing Leoric here, it just feels like it is a downhill spiral that they find themselves in. That's 6 kills to 0 now. 2 of the altars have of course been taken by the blue team with ease. No problem there. But yeah, with level 7 talents kicking in, I'm looking at those bell towers and I'm just asking myself how long it's going to take for sometimes you win to lock one of them in, to convert it over. Because that seems to be what's eventually going to happen. Low APM, they really need to take a deep breath right now. Take a deep breath, reset, and then do your thing. Because currently, this is not how you're making it into the next stage of the tournament without going through the constellation match. Now, either way, there might be a lot of momentum right now, but the bigger question, of course, is then still what else are they able to do? Because you need to really build... I mean, the problem is always, you can be ahead. If you don't do anything with it, it doesn't matter. We've seen too many teams that were ahead by a level 20 talent, but never really killed or took a keep down. Then all of a sudden, you know, things are the same again. You need to make sure that you're really able to get something out of the lead that you work for. And they worked hard to get that 1 level advantage, 6 kills to 0, but they have to also translate that in actual some structural damage. Normally that happens in after level 10. In the early game is obviously a bit more of a problem to just like barrel in here and try to make a big move, but you still need to think, okay, how can we actually get something out of this in the long run? And that's what we're going to see here. For now, they're just trying to get more kills, they're trying to get the altars, they want to get level 10 abilities, that's all fine and good, but they're losing Phoenix, they're losing Greymane, and yep, just like that, the gap in experience is nearly closed, and if they now go for the double channel on the altars, the red team is even ahead in points. Yep, that's how this is how quickly this goes. 28 to 32. Just like that, low APM has now officially taken the lead in core points, has nearly, not quite, closed the gap in experience, and yep, that's just what it is right there. So, job well done. Not sure what to say. There is still the early level 10 abilities. We actually get Haymaker. I'm not quite sure what to think about that. Haymaker, Shockwave, Aegis. And on the other side, Slowing Sands. They are setting those ganks up time and time again. I really like the coordination around them. Setting the ganks up the way that they do is fantastic. They have done this throughout the entire game. It gave them a really good position, but currently they still need to try and re-establish the advantage that they had earlier. I love, by the way, how Bouncy Bear... I mean, the bear part might not work, but the bouncy part definitely does. The jumps and storm bolts that we're getting are really great. And now even the Haymaker play here, isolating Diablo a bit. Unfortunately for them, not able to get a kill, and then of course Muradin dies. That's the problem as a commentator. The second that you praise anybody, it immediately spells out disaster for that particular player, and he falls and just starts ending. And that's exactly what we basically just saw. So Bouncy Bear, after some really nice jump stuns that were able to give them a bit of a lead, has now fallen and more or less killed himself with that play, jumping into the tower range and eating the shots. But it gives us also a super close game, which is basically all that we can ask for at the end of the day. 19,000 damage now for Hanzo. Same for Phoenix. And Oriel with a channel that will be interrupted by Diablo at the bottom of the map. So they're trying to go for Diablo again. Doom is over here. Stuns come out. Diablo. He goes for the barbecue. Still alive. Gets the heals. And they just could not get that kill. Yeah, a little bit more auto attacking on him and he's gone. But they aren't able to get the kill together. Now, of course, the channel attempts continuously interrupted, but the red team is being pushed back, and this is another few shots set in. Hanzo was trying again with the scatter shot to interrupt Muradin, but couldn't. Now it's 28 points for both of the teams, so we definitely get that close game that we were hoping for as we entered all of this. So, yep, it's gonna go down to the wire. Not only game 3, but also a close one. Seems like Leoric has realized that he's a prime target for the opponent's team. So he's already starting to move in. He's like, no, not this time. But he still gets killed. Oriel comes in and hope kills despair. That's what we're getting here. So while Diablo is trying to drain them from all hope, Oriel is giving them plenty. And that means that they are now in a situation where they were able to kill Leo for the fourth time. So yeah, he's turning full on Leoki on us with this game. Tries to activate his trade a little bit, you know, who can blame him? It's just trade activation that we're seeing at the end of the day. That's all that it is, of course. Now, another connect here nearly from Muradin. 13 talents versus 13. And still no bell tower converted. Bot lane, every couple of pumpkins that should soon come up. They're trying to also set up a few more traps so that they can go for a couple of kills here. It's a cool series. Definitely a very cool series. And insanely close. They love him. They really like Leo. This time he's out. It's not going to take much more until Leo just says, you know what, I'm just going to stay in base. This is getting silly. But yeah, Leoric is their favorite target. Now we have a double altar, top left, top right. Easy challenge. Like nobody's making a move for it. Just an easy exchange and shots fired onto core. 4 shots connect on each side, and pumpkins are taken while that happens. There's still one camp over on the right side, so the red team hasn't rotated that quickly down here. Leo is just a Stormbolt magnet at this point. Every time they're just trying to grab him. Hoga is still maintaining control of the top lane and is getting the experience for the team. And Muradin is all the way down at the bottom of the map, of course, and starting to make the plays here. But they take their own pumpkin camp. Everybody just waiting for the next objective or for a chance to get a push together here. Has not happened yet. Yeah. Okay, Phoenix is fine. Got hit there for a second, but no problem. So Phoenix is still alive and kicking. No big issues for him. Yeah, but then again, we're now having also with Chromie and her level 16, she also has Quantum Overdrive here. So even more chances to try and go for a huge burst after a decent setup. Or after an Entomb. That could be the setup, of course. We're not only talking stuns here. Hanzo hasn't had the impact that we thought he would have. He's the top damage dealer in the game. But still, not too many kills. Haven't seen any insane arrows out of this world yet. Greymane kills Leo again. Obviously, the wolf goes for the skeleton. He wants to have some bones. He's making no bones about that. He has a bone to chew with Diablo. And with Leoric. More with Leoric than anybody else. So yeah, they were a little bit tortured, but next time they will be better. Anything. Interrupt. Channel attempt. Yeah, this is triple altar phase. Since they have a 5 versus 4 again with Leoric respawning, I think they can make a move here. But Phoenix will be back soon. Nobody's even going for that one. I thought they would just try to lock this in quickly. The exchange has already happened, and now the blue team is attempting to limit access to the third one, which could work out for them. And, well, there's some interrupting happening, but generally speaking, it looked for a second like they might be able to cheese this one in without even having to rely on a team fight. The problem with it is that it also means Hogger takes a ton of damage. And with him retreating, the 4 points go to the red team. They take the shots, and good for them. That means they are once again a little bit in the lead here. 16 to 20 on the core points. Yeah, this is going all the way. We might get a pretty hefty late game between these two teams now. Pumpkins over and over get attacked. Right now they're about to respawn. Seems like they're trying to set up a trap here. Greymane is still on the lane, so they have some vision. And actually, with him seeing everyone down here, they're trying to steal the camp away. And they might just have the timing for it. That might just work out, and it does. Red team doesn't make a serious effort to invade that. So there's more and more pumpkins coming. We haven't seen a single bell tower converted yet. Not one. So, alright. Leo still at the top. Everybody's playing cautious now. Nobody wants to risk anything out of the ordinary here. Level 20 talents will be the next one to aim for. Greymane with Alpha Killer. He's the one really going for Diablo. And, of course, for Leo, who gets attacked, eats the Storm Bolt, and is dead again. He's just dead. Leoki is just dying, 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 and dying. This is the 6th time now that he died. 6 times that Leoki was just crushed. So, with Leoki gone, yeah, that's bad news. He'll respawn quickly, but that's still feeding more experience to the other team, and it also gives them these little windows that they can attempt to use. So Muradin is jumping in again. Is he gonna try for Haymaker? They go for Dibbles, and he's dead. The arrow a little bit too late to make a difference here. Diablo loses his soul stacks. He's dead, and now they're going for Leoki again, and of course he dies. The Diablo heroes are just suffering in this game. They get Greymane at least. Shots are fired as the altar was channeled by the blue team, but Greymane was lost. So there is a counter kill. And to be absolutely fair to Leoric, him dying is not that big of a deal because it just respawns faster, especially when he connects the drains. Which means that if you can actually get a lot of abilities focused on you, it's not necessarily the worst thing that can happen here. Oh, they want Chromie! They nearly got it, but they go for Hanzo again. I think that's a nice consolation prize. And then they are able to take out not only Chromie, regardless, but also Diablo. That was a big one. Huge triple kill now for sometimes you win. That one was big. I mean, fantastic. Look at this. It's just so great for them. Couldn't have gone any better. They're getting 3 kills, massive momentum that they immediately have and that they can now use to just come in and try and take that bell tower. Maybe even add additional kills to it and stagger deaths on the opponent's side. So down goes Leoric. They're taking the bell tower slowly out. Level 20 is ready for them too, which means we get the singularity charge for Phoenix now. He has fully specced into this, by the way. Fully specced. Mobile offense, target acquired straight into divert power, and then the offensive cadence. Muradin with a double jump now has gone for rewind. Well, not double jump, double storm bolt, whatever he wants. So he went rewind. And on the side of Greymane, we have Tooth and Claw. Went already into melee mode very heavily. And of course, especially when he is focusing on structures, this is going to be insanely helpful for them too. So bell tower at the top gets taken. And they got, by now, the full barrage. Every single bell tower has been converted over. 15 points on the core. Altar channel happens. 7 shots already. Just bam, down. Single digits. Diablo falls. Sometimes you win. Is pulling it off here. They are about to win the game. 3 more is all that they need. Bell tower is nearly taken, but Hanzo is eliminated, and this is all she wrote. The final shot is fired. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is game. A 2-1 victory for Sometimes You Win. They advance to the next stage of the tournament as the first team out of Group B. GG and congratulations.